What's going on, everyone? It's Corey here from the Breakevens, giving you another AFL Supercoach video today. If you missed the last episode, it was my first draft because the team picker was open. It was the first draft. It's already been uploaded, so make sure you go check that out. It's the first video of three. That being first draft. Today we're going to do a Guns and Rookies approach to the team picker. And then in a couple of days, the third video will be basically mid-price madness. I've had a bit of fun with it and basically picked all the people who could break out and value picks. So make sure you go check that video out. And if this comes out, if you're seeing this on a day where all three videos have been uploaded, make sure you go check them out and like and subscribe to the channel. So before we get into today's video, let's go through the socials. So don't forget, you can find me on Twitter/X at BreakeVensPod, on Facebook, The Breakevens, here on YouTube, and on Twitch, The Breakevens. As I said, like, follow, subscribe on all of those platforms for all AFL and FPL content. All right, today, Guns and Rookies approach. So basically, I've got the team here, by the way. If you see me look down, it's just me looking at the team. So basically what I've done is I've gone majority Guns and Rookies, except for the forward line, because there's a lot of value there. And I think if you go away from that value, you might actually get hurt a bit. So it's mostly Guns and Rookies approach with a few value selections in there. So let's get straight into it and straight on the website, and we'll go through each player and my thoughts. So give you 1 second. All right. So if you haven't seen any of the other videos, gonna go from defense all the way down to the flex. Don't know why Sarong is there. Don't mind the ambulance going past my house. I apologize for that. So we'll go through the defense first. Don't forget, this is a Guns and Rookies sort of approach. A lot less mid prices and breakout players. So let me get it up. So starting off, Sam Flanders. As I've said in the first video, most consistent defender last year, average 119. I don't think his role is going to change. So Flanders, if you're going for a Guns and Rookies approach, start with him. Yes, he'll probably fluctuate. He might go down a little bit, but then, you know, he might stay around that 600K. Fine with that. He is a must-have. I feel. Next is Harry Sheezel at 635K. We saw him move into the midfield last year. He averaged 118. I think he does that again. Not exactly 118. I still think he's 115 to 120 in that midfield role. Just as long as he doesn't push forward and play forward, he should be okay. But with how dominant he was and that North Melbourne side, I think Sheezel will be a mainstayer in that midfield and defense. So, yeah, picking him up there, Guns and Rookies approach, you want the big boys. So, next one, I have gone Jack Sinclair. I was looking, you know, I don't want to go with Ryan straight away. Whitfield, he'll probably drop some cash. I'm not going Zorko at 595. McGovern, no. It was basically between Nazaya and Jack Sinclair. I want one of these guys in. And Jordan Clark, Nick Newman, and Max Holmes, they're all people who I've looked at as well. But for this, Jack Sinclair averaged 109, and he started the season very poorly, but he brought it back towards the end. So it'll all depend on his role. Does he play that more midfield time, or does he go back to the halfback? Obviously, we want him off the halfback because I think that's where he does his best work. I think he can go missing a little bit if he plays through the midfield. But they have Nazaya there and a few young guys who could be going into that back line. So it'll be interesting. Keeping an eye on him now, but this is just the side that I came up with and Guns and Rookies. But a Clark will definitely be an under the radar pick, and Nick Newman looked good towards the end of last year if he keeps that same role. And yeah, basically these three, Nazaya, Holmes, and Sicily. You can go any of those guys, and Sinclair being the most expensive, you'll actually be making cash so you can fit them in if needed. So three guns there. Now this is where we go to the first mid-pricer, and Killian Coleman coming off the ACL. Showed glimpses towards the back end of 2023. And his final series, he was absolute dominant. And in that final, as I've mentioned in the last video, he was on 100 Supercoach in the grand final at halftime. So hopefully he can get back to his best, and that knee is nice and strong, and he can get back to his best. So keep an eye on Killian Coleman. But depending on money left over, could go up to a Mills if I change a few things around. So Killian Coleman comes in there. Next one is Travalia, 172k. Spoke about him in the first video, and he looks to be a great player to make an impact quite early at the Saints. In defense or midfield, he can do both, and should be a pretty solid scorer for us. Next up is Bo Allen, another one. So most of the rookies will be in the first video. If I'm looking, yeah, most of them are in the first video anyway. So I'll just quickly go over them. So Bo Allen should be in the best 22. Again, another defender mid, can play both, can do a job for West Coast. Big bodied, so he should be good to make some sort of impact. Saad Al Hawley, another one there. He's gone to play games early. He was close to playing games last year. They held off, which is a good thing because we get him at 119k. Looking good in preseason. If he stays away from injuries, he should just be straight in. Now, this, I did have Gibkiss because I saw a lot of people who had Gibkiss in their sides, but I'm not really going to go Gibkiss. I'm not going to go Reed either. Who I am going to go is Jed Buslinger. Signed a new contract with the Dogs. Was touted for games last season, didn't quite get in. Don't know why. He had a pretty solid VFL. He's a rebounding halfback who likes to use his foot, for those who don't know. And just signed a big extension. So they obviously rate him. So I think he's a big chance to get games this year. Is it going to be early? We won't know, but there's plenty of other options around for the defense. So that's basically the defense there. Let's move into the midfield. And Marcus Bontempelli is going to be there, of course. Average 126. Could easily get 130. Tearing up the track, but it's Bont, and he's playing against the Bulldogs in preseason. So pretty easy to dominate. But yeah, Bont picks himself. If you can just justify 681 and fit him in, you basically need to have him, I reckon. Next is Nick Dacos, 631k, average of 117. I think he could push 120. Similar to Sheasel, I think they're both 115 to 120. I would be surprised if he got 120 plus. But 631k, the main guy in there for Collingwood. Obviously, we've got Perryman in, and I say we because I'm a Collingwood supporter. We've got Perryman coming in. Can Degoe stay healthy? And then obviously you got Crisp who can pinch hit. You got Pendles who can do a job. Tom Mitchell if he plays and comes back. Pat Lipinski. Ed Allen, these guys all, um, could chop out in that midfield, and the bigger body guys could get day cost free around those stoppages just using the simple block. So I think he's going to do well, and I had to have a draft where Dacos was in. So I've put him in this one, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. Next is Caleb Sarong. I've chucked him in as well. I spoke about Sarong in the first video. Basically, the main guy down at Freo. Average 115. I think he's solid for that 115 average. I don't see him getting up close to 120. I think 115, 117 is probably where he's at, mainly 115. So, going to be a great selection. Freo have the best buy in mid season with only them and St Kilda, I believe. They're the two with just the single buys, I guess. So I've put him in there just purely for cover through the buys. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. I've gone for a man who's absolutely tearing up at a new club, and that's James Peatling. Has come over from GWS and absolutely looks like he's tearing it up at Adelaide, and looks to be someone who is a mainstay in that midfield. Average is 65, so he's at 352. I see a world where he goes 105 plus. Hopefully he can stay fit, but it is explosive. He's a tackler. He's not afraid to get dirty. So Peatling's looking the goods, and for this, I needed to put I guess a price enabler in the midfield because I didn't want to go five rookies on field. So spoiler, I will be going 4 rookies on field, but Peatling in there was at a good price, and nothing but good things coming out of the Crom at the moment. Now we move in to the rookies, and Jagger Smith is in. Spoke about him again in the first video. He gets the ball. He's a stats man, and I think he just walks into that Carlton midfield. I think he pushes out Hewitt a little bit. I think Chera might go to a wing. You got Doherty training in there, but with Cripps and Walsh, that does Walsh move to the wing? Not sure, but Jagger Smith, he's going to get the ball. He's going to average hopefully 80 to 85. That's my guess. So at 194, I'm putting him in there. Next one is Sid Draper, another one in the Crom who's absolutely tearing it up. 190 K. He can play defense or in the midfield. I see him getting some mid minutes, and I think they'll try and utilize him off the halfback potentially. Yeah, nothing but good things. And at the moment, Sid Draper is a lock in probably most people's side who have been keeping up with the news. Next is Levi Ashcroft. It was his birthday the other day, and he was running laps with Harris Andrews, and I was there thinking they must have been the slowest laps of his life because Harris Andrews looks like an old man who can't run, but this guy can run. He's an absolute gun. Gets plenty of the ball in the midfield, and when he goes up forward, he likes to get on the scoreboard as well. So very impactful. The best player in the draft is what everyone is saying. So at 185K, because he dropped a bit for father son, absolutely put him in for sure. Next is Harvey Langford, 181K. So he was my flex in the last video. He's made the best 22 in this one. Good things coming out. He's a good kick, loves to tackle, and he's pretty quick. So nice and simple. Langford is in there for now. With the Guns and Rookies approach, you're going to expect that extra rookie on field. So yeah, he could easily be on field or could be put on the pine for any of the guys who I'm about to go through. So this might not be great because there's already 2 players from this team, but Charlie Edwards, I'm hearing a lot of good things from Edwards out of the Crom. honestly, I don't think he starts the season. But at 119k, more than likely we're going to get a cheaper guy. So he's just a um placeholder just for now. And same with the other two guys. I'll have to probably change some things around depending on the rookies that we get. All right, next up we have, I think it's Cody Anderson. I think that's his first name. It is right here, Cody Anderson, 113k. Good things coming out of the Hawks from him. I've been told from a few guys to keep the eyes on him. Does he get games early? Is he a sub risk? For now, he's just a placeholder, but out of everyone else, I'm feeling pretty confident with him because the cheaper rookies at the moment in the midfield aren't the best. If we just have a quick look, I've heard good things about Grego, got Anderson there. Actually, there is one man, Neil Erasmus, probably put him in instead. I'll talk about Erasmus in a second. Clay Hall could be another one there. Yep. So I'll touch on Neil Erasmus right now quickly. Super talent, hasn't really set himself in the best 22. Can he do it this season? A lot of sub affected games. At some point, they're going to have to play him, or else he's going to jump ship. So I think this year he takes that next step. Just can he find himself in the best 22? And apart from Anderson, we've got Christian Moraes from Port Adelaide, who, again, someone I've been told keep an eye on. He could get some games early, up forward for Port. But realistically, I think he might just be a bit of a sub risk if he does start. So that's the first half of the team done. Let's get into the second half. The Rucks, Christian Cherry, 119 last season. I think he gets past 120 this year. He was 0.1 off. I think he even gets better this year with the rise of Sheasel, McKercher. You got LDU in there. Luke Parker will rotate through there and a few others. So Cherry is going to go big, or Jerry as his actual name is, but we like to call him the Cherry Bomb. So Tristan Cherry's in there, and Tom De Koning makes his way in. I think Carlton have realised they're a better side without Mark Pitternet. De Koning's putting on some more size each and every season. What did he average last season? 101. I think he pushes 110 this season. Just hopefully he can stay at 547. He's a bit of a cheap enabler as well. So I'm happy to go him there, and hopefully Pitnet just stays away and pisses off. And for the bench, I'm basically going the cheapest guy. I don't know why it won't let me scroll down, so I'll just put his name in. How do you spell it? It's not. What the hell? All right, we're gonna have to filter through Hawthorn then. Has it been taken out? Am I nuts? That is so weird. Is there not 99k? Oh wow. The price ranges are only 100k on the site. That makes complete sense, and that is so weird. All right, well, we'll just put Charlie West in, but I had a not 99k guy in there from Hawthorn just as a lip hole option until we find the best one. So don't really have to worry too much about that. Let's move to the forward line, and we're going Jason Horne-Francis and Isaac Rankin. Horne-Francis, forward mid, 537k, average of 99.7. If he repeats that, he's most likely going to be number one forward again. I think he pushes 105 this season, just natural growth and development. And I think he's a must have. I think he's going to do really well this season. Hopefully, he works on his tank so he can do a bit more on the defensive side. But for a young guy, averaging 99.7 in our forward line is going to be perfect. Isaac Rankin, hopefully he can stay fit, but he absolutely destroyed it last season when he played midfield. He's going to do that again. And he came out today being Thursday, and said he wants to get 20% more CBAs this year. And I think he gets that. I think Rory Laird goes a bit more back into defense, and Rankin gets a bit more mid time and pushes forward and gets on the scoreboard. So, being guns and rookies, I've gone the two big guys there, and then I've gone two mid prices, the two safer ones. Bailey Smith coming off at ACL, 389K. I think he gets a bit of time in that midfield at Geelong. He's looking fit. And I think out of McRae, him, Daniel, and Philippou, he's one of the safer options, even though he is coming off that ACL. And the other one is Caleb Daniel, who I think is the best one because he's taking over that McKercher Fisher role off the halfback. He'll be taking kickouts, get the ball into Daniel's hands, and he will hit the targets. At 269K, we've got a guy who could easily average 100. So put him in. Now we jump to the rookies. First is Isaac Kako. He's going to be a bit inconsistent being a small forward, but he's going to get games at 149K. He's an impact player, so he doesn't need a lot of possessions to score well. And I think he's just one of the safe bets if that's on field or on the bench. Next is Elijah Hewitt, who will be a popular one coming back from long-term injury. I'm not exactly sure what it was. It was probably an ACL because everyone did ACLs last year. But he's coming back in, super talent. They like him at 122K. He'll probably play majority forward, but might rotate in or push up around the ball, playing that high half forward role. And I think you can book him in for a 70, 75 average. So I think he is a great selection. Another one is Daniel Curtin, who is looking strong, has put on size, and that was the big thing for him. He needed to put on a bit of size. He's looking powerful, he's looking strong. If he's fit, he's going to be a great pickup at 158K. Easily could average 75. Funny that he's a forward because he can play in defense, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But at 158 at the moment, he looks a great pick. Next is Jacob Constanti, moved down from Sydney to get a go. He's played for a few games for Sydney, I believe, and he should slide straight into that North Melbourne side. At the moment, he's one of the better prospects, but Clarko might have other ideas. So I'm not quite sure. Looking at the forward rookies, just quickly, not many will get games. So Sam Davidson's one to keep an eye on. Hearing good things out of the Bulldogs from him. I've seen people with Algier. I don't know a lot on him, if I'm being honest. Cooper Simpson, can he get in and not be a sub risk? Probably not. Ashton Moore is another one, but I think he's a massive sub risk. There's Constantine there. Campbell Gray, can he get into that side? Defender forward, which would be helpful. Because is there no, there's not. Cool. Don't worry about me. Got Erasmus there if we want to go different midfield option. Justin Clark, I'm not going anywhere near. Dev Robertson, I think Levi Ashcroft hurts him a little bit there. So I'm staying away from him. I've seen a lot of people with Joe Berry. I'm not jumping on Joe Berry. Jack Martin could be another one at 150K. He's probably the better one, coming over to Geelong from Carlton. If he stays fit, he should get games. So apart from that, I'm not going near anyone else. Maybe Tom Lynch, but I don't know how much I have left over at the moment. So we will see. So talking about the flex, I've got a mid-pricer for the flex though at 346k. Let's see who we can get. Obviously, I can put a rookie in here if needed. 347, I'll take that. So Aiden Core, Fletcher, no. Rochelle, no. Parker could definitely be someone who I've flagged early, who I think, depending how much mid time he gets, could be a good pickup. Anyone else worth mentioning? Sanders, but Bevo hates him, so probably not. Yeah, not seeing too many options. So once we get to the man I'm going to put in, which should be very soon, I'll just chuck him straight in, and that is the poo. Just have a quick look at anyone else who I can get in. No, that's pretty much it. Unless you wanted to go Isaac Cumming. He's done a hamstring. He's out for a few weeks. When he comes back, how fit is he? He's definitely someone. You could look at Cam Guthrie at 278, the injury machine. Can he get back to his best? He's getting a bit older now, so he's a massive risk. Schoenmaker is looking absolutely jacked and could make an impact. Him and Travalia, if they're both in the side, they should have a pretty good young defense for the next few years. And the last one, actually, you got Matt Flynn here, who's someone who I'm looking at. Should be the number one ruck at West Coast if he can stay fit. He's battled injuries at 261. If you get a number one ruck, he's easily going to make you 250, 300k. So you can get him in for 200k, hopefully 250, and then you can swap him to an Uber ruck there. Someone who I'm seeing a lot of, and someone who I'm trying to look at to keep in. And there was one more. Staying away from Finn McRae. He's burnt me the last 3 years. Josh Sin looks to be taking over Dan Houston's role. Again, can he stay fit? He loves to do a hamstring, but he's a left footer with a lovely kick and he's quick. So keep an eye on him. And the last one here is Jack Carroll, 224k, coming over from Carlton. Showed a lot of promise last year. Does he make an impact at the Saints? But the man I've selected is Mateus Philippou. I just think between him and McRae, apart from, not being able to afford McRae, Philippou, younger guy, probably more opportunity, did really well at the end of last season, playing within that midfield before he got injured. So if he can stay fit, play through that midfield, get the ball early, that's going to give him a lot of confidence, and he could very well score an average 95 plus. So I've put the poo in there, and I've got 32k left over for whatever I need to. So that is the Guns and Rookies team. Quickly go through it. So Flanders, Sheasel, Sinclair, Kitty Coleman, Travalia, Allen with Al Hawley and Buslinger on the bench. Bond Dacos of the Nick variety, Caleb Sarong, Peatling, Jagger Smith, Sid Draper, Levi Ashcroft, and Harvey Langford with Edwards, Moraes, and Erasmus on the bench. Tristan Cherry and Tom DeConning with, I've got West here, but any cheap ruck because they don't have 99k players on the website for some reason. Horn Francis, Rankin, Bailey Smith, Caleb Daniel with Kako, Hewitt, Curtin, and Constantine on the bench, and Philippou as the flex. So that's my Guns and Rookies approach with a few price enablers. So I was able to go more Guns and Rookies. And of course, you got Smith, Daniel, and Philippou there, who they seem like great pickups. So it will be hard to avoid them, but could definitely make a few changes and try and squeeze in an extra primo there. if needed. But that's going to do it for today's video. Again, if you haven't seen the first video, which was my first draft team, the team that I'm looking to go with at this point, and the strategy I'm going to try and use, make sure you go check that out. Of course, it's here on YouTube at the Breakevens. You can also find me on Twitter /X at BreakevensPod, on Facebook, the Breakevens, and don't forget on Twitch for my FC career mode. So this is video number 2. I've got one more that I have to record and get out. So keep your eye on that. Like, follow, subscribe on all of those platforms. Thank you all for listening. And until next time, it's bye for now.